he had to run. And I also want to thank Commissioner Gill and Assemblywoman Gill. They were expected to be here, but at the last minute they couldn't. And so they have stood firmly regarding state equality for a number of the years that they've been elected. And so we want to thank them. But we're so blessed to have Assemblywoman Rosy Bagolie, who's going to say a few words for us today.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I am so happy to be here with you this morning. Garden State Equality and their 20th year anniversary. Give it up for them. This is a long road and a long journey. Now, I just became Montclair's Assemblywoman, and Montclair being the place, when we had the Pride Parade here was just outstanding and amazing. So I have to give a shout out to Out Montclair for everything that they're doing for our community. To Lauren, I have had the pleasure, I don't know if you all know that I sit on the Education Committee in the State House. And I've sat through 5 hours of testimony just on the freedom to read. The other day, when we're talking about parental rights and some conversations were being said that were just, I'm going to come out and say it, flat out to me, disgusting. My chief of staff sends me a text message and says, Rosie, you're making faces. As you know, we're being taped. And she wanted to let me know that I was making faces that may not have been agreeable to the camera. And I said, I don't care. If I'm making faces, it's probably because they're saying something that's not right. So the face is going to stay and they can let me see it on camera. I never bring this up too much because I never wanted to use this as a use for conversation. But as a young boy who still stays in my heart, and his family will forever be in my heart, and I think by now they must know how much they mean to me. Shiv's Third Eye, if you're not familiar with this organization, please get in touch with them and become familiar with them. Shiv was my neighbor. And his mother was the first woman to welcome me to the city of Livingston when I moved in with my 3 children. My heart hurts for her every day that she does not have her child with her. Our sons being the same age, would have been graduating high school this year together. I stopped because I'm starting to get emotional. It's deeply hurting for me that today Shiv was not going to walk with my son. And he's not going to walk at graduation with my son because of his fear of intolerance, because of his fear of not being accepted, because of his fear that as he grew up, he was not going to be the person that other people wanted him to be. And he could be alive today if we continue to unify and use our voices for good, to tell all of our children, that they belong, that they are special, that they will be accepted, and that we are not going back to a world where our children feel like they are going to be less than, marginalized, where I have to make faces to let people know that you are not going to turn our children into being something that they are not, and that you're not going to push your thought process onto us. And I wrote this whole big thing that I have not read yet, because I'm so passionate when it comes to protecting our youth. When I took my vote on the freedom to read, I said, I'm going to vote with all the children that testified here today, because the adult voices that were here today are not the ones that are truly going to be affected by the decisions I make in the legislature. My decisions will always put children first. I have made my career of 24 years as a teacher, as a principal and superintendent of schools, making sure that every child that walks through my building feels loved and safe no matter what walk they take in life. And that is our mission every day. And when I sit on the Education Committee, I can promise you that every vote I take is going to be in the best interest of our children. Now I'm going to move on because I'm the state legislator, so we're going to talk about the importance of this election this year. Every election is meaningful, every election is important, but this particular election is even more important than any vote that you have ever casted before. Our work is not done. Our policies to protect our kids are not done. School districts today are still overturning policies that protect our transgender students, our LGBTQ plus students. And we need to make sure that they are 100% protected and that our laws make sure that our children and that our LGBTQ community as a whole is protected. That equality is not just equality for some, but for all. It is about the future of our democracy and ensuring that we continue to move forward, not backward. This fight of progress for love, for equality, we need leaders who stand with us. Look out, we talk about who are our allies. Be very careful who are our allies. For the vote that you cast this November is going to determine the future of our country, the future of women, and the future of our LGBTQ plus community, the future of how we want to live in this polarized world, in this world when we feel like we do not have a voice anymore, where we must speak for those who feel voiceless, because love has to win. And when we fight, everyone,
we win!
We win! When we fight,
We win!
and are we going back?
No.
There is no way we're going to allow ourselves to go back, right?
Right.
There is no way we're going to go back to a world when inclusivity and love is not respected, where our rights are not valued and cared for, where our communities, our immigrant communities are being seen as less than. We cannot live in this world. This is not the world we want to raise our kids in, right? So you must, see, this is the legislature. We must stand together. We must be careful how we're casting our votes. And we need to make that vote count. Who's with me this November? Who's with me? Who is with me for protecting our rights? Who is with me with protecting our youth? Who is with me for protecting all of our communities who are deserving? Our minorities. When we talk about equality, it's equality for all, not those, not some, not the days, all of us. So please join me. I guarantee you that I will always stand with you. I will be your ally 100% in the state legislature. I will stand hand in hand with you, and I will always make decisions that are in the best interest of our communities. Thank you for having me here today. And again, when we fight,
We win!
keep fighting, people. We gotta keep fighting. We fight on November 5th in the polls. And you know what? Let's not forget also what we're doing here today. Get up and do something. Do something to make sure that the fight's not over. And please donate, because today we're here for that. Right? Make sure you put your money where your mouth is, because Garden State Equality needs us to continue the fight. Get up, do something. And you know what? I'm going to walk away with the words of Michelle Obama, because they stayed with me since she said them at the DNC. I am filled with the contagious feeling of hope that November 5th, we are going to continue, and we're going to have fight, and we're going to win this fight. My hope is there, and my hope is with all of you. So what are we doing on November 5th? We're voting, and we're getting our friends to vote, and we're going to drive people to the polls, and we're going to make sure everybody has the accessibility to go out and cast that lever. So when we fight, and we're going to win. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Assemblywoman. I hope we're all a little fired up today.
Let's
from
get
those
fired